You are the most valuable investment you will ever make. Hi, I'm Zarina Poonawalla, your leadership coach, life coach, and emotional intelligence coach. You probably know me from the Empowering series, and this is my new show, the Life Manifesto with Zarina Poonawalla. I'm going to coach you to be the best version of yourselves. So get ready to create, attain, and manifest the life you've always desired and make it your reality. Stress and anxiety are two words that are often used together in the same sentence, right? Like they're complementary to one another, like bread and butter, cup and saucer, give and take, even forgive and forget. Always mentioned together, talked about together, and dealt with together. In fact, during the lockdown and post the lockdown, when more conversations opened up on these topics, I was invited to speak on stress and anxiety several times. And I still am. And I usually wait for someone to ask me a very specific question. And honestly, I'd say the most important question as well. The question is, what is the difference between stress and anxiety? Very often, you might be confused between stress and anxiety, and it is very difficult, I imagine, to be able to pinpoint exactly what you feel at a time, in a moment. And that is why you need to identify what you are going through. And it is crucial to know the difference. Now, with all the overwhelming information we have these days, you may feel like you are stressed when you are probably dealing with anxiety, and it's also possible that you might be labeling a stressor in your life as you being anxious. So, it's very important that you don't misdiagnose these two. I personally feel like they can be easily misunderstood because their symptoms are also quite common. Like headaches, sleep issues, shortness of breath, or an elevated heart rate, sometimes physical aches and pains, maybe nausea or dizziness, appetite issues, irritability or mood swings, anger, lack of focus or productivity, an unhealthy gut, becoming acidic or having acid refluxes, simply bad bowel movement. Any of these could be a symptom of stress and anxiety. So today, let me break it down for you. Stress, as we've talked about before, is you pressurized with life's demands from you. When you cannot cope with the demands in your life, you feel stressed. You can have different kinds of pressures: financial pressures, work pressure, relationship pressure, pressure of health or ill health of yourself, or maybe a loved one. So basically, stress comes from your life's stressors, something specific or situational. Anxiety, on the other hand, can simply be your reaction to stress. Or worse, it could be a sense of fear, worry, and nervousness, a constant feeling of uneasiness, overthinking and overreacting. It's a feeling or sense of impending doom. You feel like there's some kind of a doom lingering around you. It doesn't leave you, even when the stress is over. The anxiety stays with you. Stress is external. It happens due to stressors, right? And those stressors in your life could be situational. Like an exam, you feel stressed before exams. You feel stressed when you have lost your job until you find the next one. You feel stressed through a breakup, divorce, or an estranged relationship. You could be stressed because your car broke down. But you see, all these stresses are situational. Once the stress is dealt with, it's gone. Anxiety doesn't work like that. That's because it is internal, it's not external. Living in the fear that you will fail all your exams, or living in the fear of losing your job, or what if your boyfriend or girlfriend leave you? What if your parents aren't with you anymore? What if you never find love? What if you never make enough money? See, these are not situational thoughts. This is you overthinking and playing out your fears in your head. And that imagination makes your reality a blur. You start living in your head more and more, and it lingers. That is anxiety. Stress is usually shorter in span, but sometimes our stressors last longer. So for example, you have financial issues, let's say. You found a job, but you may have a medical emergency in your family, so you need to raise funds. Or let's say you have to pay EMIs and loans, but your earnings aren't supporting your financial obligations. Now you see what's happening here? The stressor in your life, in one way or the other, is constant. It's continually stressing you out. And that could cause you chronic stress. Anxiety, on the other hand, is prolonged. It's internal. So you feel it for a constant longer period of time. So it's not very short-lived. Stress or distress, meaning it could be good for you or bad for you. It could have better outcomes or worse outcomes. Pressure of performing well during an interview or an exam or a presentation, or even when you're asking for a raise, asking a date out. These things may make you prepare better and help you to push yourself to the best of your potential. That we call eustress. But suppose you get stressed before an interview or presentation or performance and you give up under the pressure. You crumble. That is called distress. Anxiety is usually not so good for you. At least I don't think so, except the fact that the fear from which you feel anxious may keep you away from danger. So we've talked about fear before in a couple of our episodes, and I've always mentioned fear is not a bad driver. It's good for us. So if you fear falling off a cliff, you will save yourself on the edge of a cliff, right? Now, the fear that you feel because of anxiety that keeps you anxious all the time, it can also keep you away from danger or make you more alert to a potential threat. For example, if you have, say, social anxiety and you are out at a party, you will not take a drink offered to you. You will prefer to make your own. Or say, if someone makes a pass at you, you will not get carried away and put yourself in a dangerous situation with a stranger. You will quite instinctively decline the offer. So in a way, your worry or fear in certain situations may just be a blessing for you, as long as it doesn't consume you. Stress is something everyone experiences in life from time to time. It could be for different reasons, at different degrees and intensity. But we all feel it. We all feel stressed. Stress is inevitable. Our life's demands continue, and so will our stresses. But anxiety is not something everyone experiences. No doubt, a good part of our population now suffers with GAD, general anxiety disorder, or social anxiety, but anxiety is still more specific, and not everyone knows how it is to feel anxious all the time. Maybe in a phase of your life or two, you may have been anxious, but all the time, that is not something everyone experiences, and so the feeling cannot be understood as easily either. And I would reckon that we don't take the word anxiety very lightly or use it very lightly, because we don't know what somebody is really going through and for how long. Dealing with stress differs from person to person. You might be proactive or hands-on in handling it. You might be a good problem solver. You might feel pressure and not be able to see solutions. You might deal with it in different ways, right? Depending on your personality, depending on the way you were raised, depending on how people around you handle stress. Dealing with anxiety may not be problem-based. You might get so consumed, it starts to have an effect on every other part of your life, and it might make you dysfunctional. Feeling constant fear, uneasiness, nervousness might actually spiral, might domino into other aspects of your life. Stress is caused in a way trying to control something that is happening or going to happen. It's anticipation to deal with a certain situation. But anxiety is feeling a loss of control over everything, not knowing what's happening and not knowing what's going to happen. Living with the fear of uncertainty and thinking of the worst possible outcomes. So you live with the fear of uncertainty and You're thinking of the worst possible outcomes. Stress can be managed by better approach, attitude, change in behavioral patterns, and lifestyle. But anxiety will need a more professional or clinical approach to it, to the rewiring and the behavioral pattern changes, of course. Well, I hope this gives you some clarity in understanding how you feel, your situation, your current circumstances. You could be feeling stressed and anxious, or you could be feeling one of them a little more. So it's best for you if you can observe, identify, and then seek help that suits you most. I hope you're able to tell the difference so that you can understand yourselves better, that you are more self-aware and you take the right kind of help. So my precious people, if you enjoy listening to the Life Manifesto and manifesting your life and achieving your dreams, please go ahead and like and rate our podcast. You can also click on the notification bell to get to know as soon as our latest episode drops. Do subscribe to the Life Manifesto. It's going to help us go a long way, and also reach out to like-minded people who want to truly manifest their lives and live the best version of themselves. Meanwhile, do what you love and do it often. And if you don't like something, go right ahead and change it. Thank you for tuning in to the Life Manifesto with me, Zarina. If you find the show useful, then please share it with your friends, family, and co-workers. You never know. You may just help someone become the best version of themselves. And if you want to align your life with some signature masterclasses, certification courses, and live sessions with me, go check out and download my app, Life Manifesto with Zarina Poonawalla, available on Play Store or Apple Store. And if you have any suggestions or anything that you would like to share with me, get in touch with me on my social media handles. I am at Zarina Poonawalla on Instagram and LinkedIn, and at Zarina Speaks on Twitter. See you in the next episode.